My name is Rick Sartori, and I am part of the communications team for the Lake Worth Roads project. That's why we're all here tonight. Last year, the city of Lake Worth proposed to the residents and the voters a $40 million bond issue, which would be for the residents of the city of Lake Worth. I heard some folks here talking about the county, but for the city of Lake Worth to repair and upgrade some roads. It's going to be done over the next several years, and I'm going to introduce the team that's here tonight, but we'll kind of go through the maps and the different color coding of what it means. So we'll get through to all that, but over the next several years, there's going to be an exercise of which we'll be replacing some roads, repairing some roads, some sidewalks, as well as what we're going to talk about this evening, as well as some water mains that are going to be replaced. When you came in, if you came in late, I'll make sure that we get you to register. We're asking for your number one, so we know who you are, so we can communicate, and the email addresses, so we can communicate with you, and communicate with you only. Again, we're collecting those email addresses for that. Again, my name is Rick Sartori. I work for a company called Cornerstone Solutions, and we're a public outreach firm. Here tonight also in the back, and he'll be on his way up here in a second, is Tom Biggs from Mock-Bruce. They're the design engineers for this project. And we have Dick Hasco, who was with WGI and the city of Lake Worth, who's overseeing this entire project. The challenge that we have and that we're running into, but the challenge by design of this program, and also we have in the back one of our city commissioners, Herman Robinson, so thank you, Commissioner Robinson, for being here.
Thank you.
Again, there's a finite pool of funds. There's $40 million that was approved for the 4 districts of the city of Lake Worth. So we're balancing the needs for the road and the repair with the desires of some aesthetics that we'll talk about here later on in the meeting, with the finite amount of funds that we have. Again, this is over what could be up to a 4-year project, but it's moving. The work is moving fast. Will be moving faster than that. So that's kind of what we're here tonight. It's our objectives. I'm going to be sitting down taking notes. So any questions that come up, they will be not only brought to the city, but to the project team and all this. And we're going to have a second meeting on the agenda, which you see down toward number 5. We're going to have a follow-up meeting for this group and this project on August 3rd. Right now, we're in the design, as Tom will explain, we're in the design phase of this project, and we're not 100% there yet. We're going to take the feedback that we received tonight. They'll finish up those plans, and we'll come back and you'll be noticed again. You'll get mailed, and you'll get a door hanger as well to come back on August 3rd, and we'll kind of tell you based on the input and from the engineering perspective and public works, this is what it's going to look like and what the timeline that you can expect going forward. So that's again what we're trying to get accomplished this evening, and we appreciate you for being here. And yes, sir.
So there's going to be revisions. Is that why there's a second meeting?
I'm going to leave that in the hands of the engineer. That's a great question, so I'll turn it over to Mr. Biggs, our engineer.
Hi, I'm Tom Biggs. So as Rick said, it's a 4-year program. This is just the roads in District 1 that were included in the program, and they're color coded by year. And in this particular graphic, the yellow school bus yellow ones were the year 1 projects. Our meeting tonight is just about this section. The unique part about this section is your roads on this section also get a new water main, which the other yellow roads did not get new water main. So that's why this particular segment was segregated from the other year 1 projects. In future years, year 2 is the magenta colors, and those roads are all going to be done in the next year. Year 3 is the blue. So those are roads that are close to your neighborhood. Those will be done in year 3. And in year 4 is the green roads, and that will be the last roads done in District 1 under this program. And if anybody wants to look at this later, understand it, I'll be happy to answer questions.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
Right there in 1,
Yes, sir.
we live right there, that big white house right there.
Yes.
This little tiny little area right here is not City of Lake Worth. It is unincorporated Lake Worth. So we're Palm Beach County as far as pulling permits and this and that and everything.
Right.
Is that the reason that these 2 roads here are not involved in that paving?
Correct, because they don't pay taxes into Lake Worth, so this is a Lake Worth funded project.
That's all right, as long as you do something.
That's what that's. So, in the water main. So part of the water main project, So let me talk about that first, then we'll talk about the roads, but the water mains will go in first, so I might as well talk about the water mains first. So we'll be getting new water mains, probably look a lot like this, it'll be 6-inch water mains, with new fire hydrants in key locations, to improve your water service in your community. So you're currently on 2-inch water mains, which have, a limited, a restricted flow, restricted level of service. So every street gets a new water main in it. We're going to actually be planning on putting in 3 new fire hydrants with those new water mains to give the whole neighborhood better fire protection, better coverage.
So that means that they follow the power line?
The roads, the new mains will be in the roads,
Oh.
not behind the houses. So, which brings me to my next point. Yes?
Can I have, I don't know if it has anything to do with it, but like her house has a septic tank. Will she be able to connect to the sewer when we fix the water main?
This is not a sewer project.
Okay.
I would ask Assistant Utility Director that question, if there's gonna be the opportunity to connect the sanitary sewers.
Yeah, maybe we can get together after the meeting
Okay.
and take a look at what sewers are nearby. And,
Thank you.
So as part of this, putting the water mains then in the streets instead of in the back, the houses that I've highlighted here in pink will have new water meters put in front of the houses. And so the water meters will now be in front of the houses instead of behind the houses. So water services will have to be relocated on your property to connect to the meters in the front of the houses instead of in the back. So there'll be some additional discussion about that, as the project is getting closer. But I just want you to be aware of that you'll be connecting you'll be disconnecting, once the new water main is all done, you'll be disconnecting from the old water main and connecting to the new water main with a brand new meter involved as well. So that being said, that's the water main part of the project. And this is the limits of the roadway project. And basically you can see that we are we're flaring and this is where we're showing how we're connecting at the intersections as we're planning it right now. And we'll be working through all these details with Jamie Brown and the city is exactly how these roads get connected and stuff. But we're working through that now. The survey's complete. We're working on we've just started working on the design. We're here to get some input from you. And then in August, we'll be presenting what our 90, pretty much our completed drawings in August, show you what's gonna happen when it goes under construction. So that is essentially the plan. Yes.
As far as the street lighting goes.
Yes.
Will there be any change? I mean, the streets are fairly dark. The second court, I think we only got one light there, and at night it's completely dark. Are there any plans to enhance that, or?
At this moment, there aren't, but if that is important to you, then is there a street lighting sign on here?
You could write it in.
You can write it in. We'll make notes. So if street lighting's an issue, we will certainly take that under consideration. If that's something that's important to the community, the neighborhood. That's really a brief overview. Is there any questions that I can?
So with the water mains that
Yes.
are located in the back of the house, it
Yes.
sounds like there's gonna be a whole lot of digging.
The ones in the back are gonna be abandoned back there. We'll probably remove the meters, maybe remove the meter boxes, but we're not gonna dig them up. It's more work and more aggravation to remove them out. They're just 2-inch water mains and they're just gonna be abandoned in
Oh,
place. They'll be disconnected and abandoned in place. But obviously the new one has to get put in service, approved by released by the health department for service. And then one by one all the houses have to get reconnected to the new one once everybody's connected to the new one and the
So the
existing.
piping going into the house is gonna be handled by the city?
Yes, there'll be a connection, not gonna get in your house, but
Well,
yeah.
I mean, like,
Yeah, the piping in the
one day to
yard
the next.
will be dealing with that as part of this, the reconnection of you from the back meter to the front meter. There'll have to be an agreement between the city and the homeowner that allows you to do work on your property. But then once that agreement, release essentially. once that's done, then the reconnection will take place.
So it's pretty much seamless as far as.
That's our intention.
Yeah, getting the upgrade and continuing to have water.
Oh yeah, you shouldn't be out, you should be out of water for like an hour.
Yeah, okay.
Bring the new water, maybe it's a little longer than that, but it's
Right.
a short period of time. And that'll all be coordinated. And of course, the water mains will go in first, and then then the street reconstruction will take place after the water main project is done.
And so what's the timeline? How long does it take to put the water mains in and then the roads?
This is not a very big project. I think our intention is to start this project. This project goes out to bid, so the biggest issue, we're gonna go to bid in the early fall. And then by the time the city receives bids, awards the bids, and then starts the contract construction. We're intending to start construction late this year, early next year.
How long before receiving the bid before accepting bid?
If there's no complications with the bids, the city usually awards a contract within 6 weeks to 8 weeks.
Okay, so I have some very specific questions. I expect and hope that the water right now in all of our houses on 6th and 7th, it trickles out. And that's understood because, I mean, you cannot have two lines open or you got no volume. And I'm not sure whether the lines are occluded from calcification or whether or not there is just such low volume that it probably leaks so that it doesn't have any volume at all. So that being said, a 6-inch main, which will triple the amount of volume.
It's way more than triple, but yes.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Okay, yeah, right, okay.
Think about it
I got
in terms of area.
Okay, yeah, okay, so the radius is multiplied.
Pi r squared.
Pi r squared, right, okay. So, I'm hoping that you did an anticipated volume of use on the street, not based on what we're using now because we don't use water, nobody uses water because there's no water available, right? So the amount of water that's used by those homes is gonna astronomically escalate because of the availability of water. We'll actually have pressure, so for instance, you can run a washing machine and take a shower. So I'm hoping that a 6-inch line you anticipate based on future growth, because if the economic expansion continues and people continue to grow the area, let's just say grow the area, okay, that there's going to be an increased draw on the lines, right?
Yep.
So based on an increased draw in future years, correct, we're only talking water lines so far, right? Based on an increased use in water lines, you think a 6-inch main is still enough?
I believe so, but we will certainly revisit that with the utility department, see if they want to go to 8 in any particular cases. But I believe, 6-inch line will deliver on 1,000 gallons a minute out of fire hydrant at a
So you're basing the 6-inch line on the fire department demand,
usually,
not necessarily on the neighborhood demand.
Correct. It's based on the fire flow demand, which is much higher than the domestic.
Well, you would think when on an open line that's gushing water,
Right.
but the next thing is the tie-in cost, because if we have our mains in the back and you're going to pull the box, cut the line, tie it into the pre-dug, you're going to pre-dig and run all the lines off of the main, cap them, and then tie it into the existing. You'll have the tie-in guys come right down the line and they'll tie in, right? So the tie-in cost of doing the project, tying it into the existing property, because as she said, she wants to connect to the sewer line, everything at a cost, right? So who's responsible to pay for the tie-ins on the property itself? Is that part of what's been budgeted?
Yes, it's been budgeted.
Okay,
Yes.
so we don't anticipate any tie-in costs on the water.
Not on the water, because you're all existing customers, so you're already connected, you're already a customer, so. Now,
All
if
you're
you were
doing
a
is
new
getting
customer-
accessibility
if you- right.
to the meters.
Now, if you were a brand new customer, there would be a connection charge that you would have.
An
to pay.
impact fee.
Yeah, exactly.
An impact fee.
Which basically buys the capacity, your share of the capacity.
Okay, so there's no tie-in cost, at least none anticipated
None
at this point.
anticipated.
There's gas lines behind these houses too, and a lot of us that have tried to get away from high electric use are tying in and using gas, right? So I saw the gas lines marked when they did the survey. Where was the engineering guy? Oh, you're the engineering guy? Okay. So the gas lines that are existing that were surveyed and marked, how are they gonna bring and tie in those lines? I assume you're not changing the gas lines at all, you're leaving the old
We just mark
galvanized.
them so we don't touch them. That's the only reason we mark them. We just wanna know where they're at so we can avoid them.
So you don't
The
break
city doesn't
the
own
line.
them. The city does not own the gas
You're not
lines.
gonna
It's a
put
private, that's a private utility.
You're not gonna put your stock in no cuts?
So
that's the only reason we mark them.
have you
Know where they're at.
approached the utility and said, hey, we're redoing these streets, do you wanna get a meter street side, or have you approached them with redoing the gas lines because you got what, 50, 60-year-old galv in the ground?
We've notified the gas company, but we're not actively trying to get them to move to the street at the same time.
I mean, great questions, but you have to remember that the question that was presented to the voters was water. Excuse me, roads, and in this case, some water. That's where this pool of money stops.
Right, I'm not asking you to pay for the gas lines. I was more
Well, since-
concerned about the tie-in cost, but has anybody approached the gas company and said, hey, we're redoing the roads?
Yes, we've talked to the gas company. We've sent them notice. We've sent them a copy of our drawings, in fact. So they're aware of the project. We haven't been
So if I
trying-
wanna lean on somebody, I lean on the gas company.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have pictures of where you're gonna place the fire hydrants?
You can see that. In fact, now again, we've just started the design. We have if you come and look at this, you can see the location of the water mains.
Mhm.
We're proposing to put the water mains are in light blue on here, and I'd encourage you to come up and look at that. And where the existing fire hydrants, this is a 300-foot, the gray circles on this map are 300-foot radius circles around the existing fire hydrants. The yellow circles are 300-foot radius circles around proposed new fire hydrants. So you can see this is just the fire protection.
Okay, so
covenant.
assume that it's the center of
Yeah,
that
that's right.
it's the center of
That's the center.
somewhere in the center of the
Right.
circle.
And when you come back in August, you can see detailed construction drawings for the water mains and detailed construction drawings for this roadway project.
Okay. I have one last question, and it won't be that painful.
Haven't been
The
paid yet.
yellow streets, 6th and 7th, that are mapped out for year 1,
Yes.
okay? Sunset is a disaster, 6th and 7th, don't worry, the holes are only a foot deep.
Mhm.
But Grove Street is a connecting street that's also an outlet to 6th. Just out of curiosity. And there's holes in that street too. Although not quite as deep as the other roads and not quite as plentiful. Why wasn't that street included at all in any roads, and then that would complete the box? That would complete the inlet and outlet.
Well, the study that the city embarked on when they assessed what streets were gonna be done, that one fell just better than the rest, so that fell just in the
It can wait.
it can wait, I guess is the point. The city ranked all the streets in the city with a pavement condition index, and that pavement condition index in Grove Street was better than, I guess, the rest of these streets that I would say that are on this drawing. Now, you know, the city's always reconsidering what they're doing, so, you know, if Grove Street is a concern and an issue, I'm sure that the city will consider it in future programs, whether it be street maintenance programs or the sales tax program or whatever. The city will have those other opportunities going in the future. But right now, in the first 4 years, Grove Street's not one of the streets.
And what about even patching it? Cutting it and patching it?
Yeah, I'll give you my card. I'm Jamie Brown, Public Services Director. Anytime there are potholes, any kind of issues like that within the right of way, people just need to let me know. Just call the Public Services office, shoot me an email. We come out and repair.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, I'm Omari Hardy. I'm not actually the commissioner from this district. I'm the commissioner from District 2. I didn't catch your name?
Tom Diggs, mine or just for you?
He's more important than me.
No.
No,
You're president.
For my purposes, you're more important.
Absolutely.
Than him, I'm sorry.
This is my daughter's house,
Hi.
and she's a resident.
Okay. Well, so if you're concerned about streets that didn't quite make the cut for the bond, what I would say is lean on your representative to consider that as we start to have this discussion about what we want to do with the penny sales tax money. There is a very long list of roads that scored between 60 and 69 that didn't make that cut, but that probably do need the attention that, you know, you're looking for a street like Grove. And really, the only opportunity that we're gonna probably have to do it outside of our regular maintenance budget is gonna be with the penny sales tax. So that's something to talk to, you know, to talk about with your representative. The other thing is, I understand that there is, at least at the intersection of Grove and 6, there was a really large pothole, like the size of a half court almost, for you know, basketball court. That's been patched for the time being, and you know, like, we're aware of that, and those issues are going to be.
Well, that's low elevation.
Yeah.
I mean, you have all the water from the street running down,
Right.
and those two giant. I don't know where that water goes to. Does it go in the sewer or to the lake?
I'm not familiar with the, you know, how that water drains, but
It goes into Lake Osborne?
Oh,
Lake Worth Lagoon. Okay. So, the whole idea was to get the area done and completed, at least in my mind. And the part of the reason the street probably didn't make it is because the county part, the part he lives on, those two streets,
Yeah, 'cause
that
Grove
one
meets North Drive.
bend is nice
Right.
because the county maintains those roads, not completely destroyed.
Mark is okay, Sunset is a big problem, Mark is not bad.
Well, Sunset is
Right, but Mark,
Done.
it's Grove.
well, look, you know, given the fact that some roads made the cut and some roads didn't make the cut, and we can't go changing that, you know, what I would do is, you know, the city's about to get $25 million from this penny sales tax, and there are many, many things we could spend that money on. And if you feel like it should be spent on roads that didn't make the cut for the bond, then I would say, please lean on your representatives to see that that's something that's in their mind when they're making decisions about how to spend these $25 million. That's what I would say.
okay.
The penny sales tax is from the county.
Yes, it's the voters approved a 1 cent increase in the sales tax, and because our commission decided to participate in that, we get a share of that. Our share of that is about $2.5 million a year for the next 10 years until the county reaches that $2.7 billion number. So that's money that we're going to have to make decisions about. And if, again, as I said, you feel like there are roads that need attention that didn't get it from the bond, then that's something to think about talking to your representatives about, for sure.
yes, sir.
Can you talk about the design of the road? Is this gonna, you know, he had mentioned drainage, is it gonna be curb and gutter, is this a mono pitch, or how's it gonna be set up?
Well, the intention is to essentially restore the road that, as it was originally designed, to the extent that that is practical or useful. But it, you know, if there's curbs that are broken, sections of curbs will be replaced. If there's sidewalks that are missing or broken, sections of the sidewalk will be replaced. The whole road will be reconstructed, resurfaced. This road, because the water main's going down, it's really gonna be a reconstructed road because you're digging a big trench down and put the water main in, so the water main, this road will be as nice as it can be. We're gonna try to be judicious about only replacing sections of sidewalk that need to be replaced and only replacing pieces of curb that need to be replaced.
Okay, another question, I can't really see it too well, but you have some features up there, could you explain some of the things that are being considered for the road?
Well, some of the things that we've asked other people, as we were, in these early meetings before we complete the design is, you know, if there's money that the city wants to spend on aesthetic or other issues, like trees or sidewalks, we're asking you to get, you know, rank what you think is most important to you. You know, new signage, you know, whether the speed humps or any kind of traffic calming issue, if that is an issue that is important to you, that's what those dots are. You can put what's most important to you in your neighborhood for the city to consider as an enhancement to the road project. So basically signage, crosswalks, lighting, which was we already talked about. So if you want to put on what's important to you as a community, as a neighborhood, on here, then that would be something that city department heads and us as engineers will consider, and we'll work through that and see how far we can stretch the money that the city has in your neighborhood.
Once ground is broken on each block, about how long with the water mains will it take until construction is completed?
It's an excellent question. It's really early in the design on this, so I would say though that for maintained through the entire construction process, that's going to be part of the requirements placed on the contractor. There may be, you know, obviously some aggravation to you a little bit, you know, when that's going on, but you're never going to be denied access to your home. I would expect a project like this might take 4 months from start to end, but I may be, let's say 4 to 6. Yes, sir.
I'd like to back up just for a second if I may, please. Everybody knows now, I live on Mark Avenue, okay? The sign says Mark Avenue, okay? My deed says Mark Avenue. But Lakewood Utilities and the post office call it Mark Drive. What's up with that? How do we fix that? It depends on who you talk to with my address. I'm missing mail for 4 years now because they send it to Mark Avenue. You know, no, there is no Mark Avenue. There's only a Mark Drive. But the sign says Mark Avenue. So does my deed. If you've got
Yeah,
Mark
Mark
Drive.
Drive.
Yeah.
Excellent question. I'll have to look into it. I don't know the answer to that. I don't know if it was platted as Mark, I'm guessing it was platted as Mark Drive, but I may be wrong.
I think it was Mark Avenue first because the house was built.
You may be
beside it.
right, so it may have been platted as Mark Avenue. We may have taken that off of
Well,
the property
agrees
appraiser.
with you.
The property appraiser,
But we're just trying to work it out 4 years and we're trying to work out, nobody can give us an answer. But we just wanna know which way it is. We don't care, but we wanna know which way it is.
I'll look into
You've got my
it.
email
I'll tell you
address.
what I know about it, but
My
I don't
email
think
starts
that-
with thirsty. Okay?
I don't think the city has the opportunity, since it's outside the city limits, I don't think the city has the opportunity to change it, so.
All right, thank you.
But, you know.
But that's where the sign is, on the corner of Sunset and Rock. So if they're doing signs,
For doing signs on Sunset,
Yes,
you
and
would
that
like the
is-
sign, we'll look into
that
it.
is that sign
We'll
on
try to make
Sunset.
sure that we sign it right. How's that? Sign it correctly. Yes, sir.
Is the space between the sidewalk and the street part of the, what they're gonna be working on when they put in the water mains, or?
It's possible, yes, possibly. I mean,
I mean,
that is all
yeah.
right of way. You know, basically the road right of way extends essentially from back of walk to back of walk. So everything between the back of walks is part of the road right of way. So if there's things in that grass strip between the sidewalk and the street,
If you don't have a sidewalk, you guys get 10 feet, is that correct? Don't you actually own 10 feet?
Well, it's yeah. Generally speaking, when these roads were built, if the sidewalks were the right of way was claimed by the sidewalk, you know, reclaimable right.
I have always understood that the city owns the first 10 feet of the property.
If it's your property, you will.
Yeah,
The first
that's
10
it.
feet in front of your house, yeah.
Here's the issue he's making, there is no sidewalk.
Okay.
So there won't be sidewalks put where there are no sidewalks now, so nothing will change there.
Well, not on Market.
No, on
Or Market.
Sunset.
When
Sunset.
Our
Sunset-
house is
Half
on
of my yard is
Sunset.
sunset.
Well, that's part of, we'll be working through those issues with the city as to whether a sidewalk's gonna go in there.
But they're not putting sidewalks where there were no sidewalks.
If there's gaps in the sidewalk.
That's not necessarily correct.
Yeah.
And it varies, it depends on your survey, your actual property.
Priorities are.
I just wanna make sure that in-road lights, cause I agree, our road is dark, so I want street lights.
Yeah, that-
No, I don't know what is in-road lights for the
Well, you know what,
crosswalk?
you're more than welcome to write on this board, and I'm also taking notes, because there are, street lights are not on here. We have streetscaping, these are in-road lights, so it'd be lights that are actually in the asphalt itself, to illuminate a crosswalk.
So cross off the bump in the road and put street lights.
Yeah. Well, we are gonna talk about,
Who's the
but I.
planner?
Yeah.
Who's the city planner? Who plans the project for the city? You?
We're the engineer.
There's a team that
But the-
works
You
together.
design and engineering? Designing, just out of curiosity, you have a brand new dog park, we're all excited about it, we just can't get to it. I mean, we have to go to Lake Osborne, make a left, come around. Out of curiosity, Lake Osborne Drive goes right past the thing, how come there's no pedestrian crossover so that we can access the dog park from our side of?
Yeah, I would encourage you, there's it's either a PD&E study or I think there's plans actually in place to.
What's PD&E?
Sorry, planning.
Development and execution?
I think it's a preliminary study on the project, and they're looking to replace the bridge over Lake Osborne there, and some road realignment, I believe.
Are you talking about six, or
Sixth Avenue
you're talking about six,
Bridge,
replacing
over.
six?
No, like Osborne.
Where 6 goes over Lake Osborne, right?
Yeah.
They're doing construction on that in 2020, yes, but they're not adding, they're gonna bring the bridge up to 88 code for the sidewalks, but I'm not sure how in the design we can get across 6th Avenue.
We should put speed bumps in there, because about once a year, somebody gets killed coming over that bridge at about 70 miles an hour. And one happened a couple months
Yeah,
ago.
it's still dangerous. Last week,
Here's
someone
100.
ran the fence over.
That's a real trap there, which I'm very, very happy about. That. I love to sit there by the church, and I'm very happy about that, because that slows all that
Yeah.
traffic
They need
down.
to sit there every day.
Yeah, I wish they would.
The Sixth Avenue South is, in that section is a county road. It's not
There
a
seems
city.
to be an accident out there about every month. I hear it.
Yeah, a young man got killed there not so long ago, a couple months ago. Yeah, in the middle of the, 6 o'clock in the afternoon, yeah.
I hit the trailer out there last week.
Yeah,
Right in front of the mobile homes.
Yeah, it's a dangerous spot. We're on that road every single day, and people just fly through there. Yeah, and I am the guy that goes slow. and
So
I'm the guy on the Harley Davidson that goes
who's
slow.
responsible
Sixth Avenue South.
for making a decision about access to a dog park by having a pedestrian crossover bridge, so that, let's just say,
Where's the dog park?
where you walk, where
It's
you.
it's gonna be Palm Beach County. because it's gonna be-
Oh, it's Palm Beach County's
Yeah,
park?
because it's John Fitz Park, that's not a lake.
That's a county park.
So how, cause there's a nice walkway around the park. There's like a, it's on,
There's a multi-purpose path there.
right, there's a multi-purpose path, which almost gives access to it, but there's no way to get over other than getting in your car with your dog, driving over the bridge, making a left, and then driving through. So how do we get, if it's even possible, because the county might say, we don't want you having access to our park.
I would say since it's an access into the county park, that's a county issue. And again, don't forget that through this whole, we talked about, this is a Lake Worth bond issue for the roads. Also was discussed the 1 penny sales tax. The county, the school district, and the municipality get that. So that could be something, again, your county commissioner or somebody that you should lean on when it comes to that. They are receiving 30 cents on the dollar of the 1 penny sales tax, and they have their wish list and their capital improvement list as well. So I would say contact your county commissioner at least.
Dave Kerner.
Dave Kerner?
Yep.
Sure, Dave Kerner.
He's the contact guy for this area?
He is the county commissioner for this area, correct?
Okay. Dave Kerner?
Kerner, K-E-R-N-E-R. Great guy. Definitely will listen to you. Yes, ma'am?
When you say school zone, where is that for us?
It's just over for the city overall. So there may not be one on your side, but on 12th Avenue South on the other side, yeah, we had, or, yeah, this is all 4 districts are using the same signboard, so some of these don't apply.
Some of them apply to you. Yeah, but the people down here was concerned about school signs.
Yeah, because you got Barton Elementary down here, so during this, they were worried about striping the road there, making sure people are aware of the schools. At 12th Avenue South is a cut through, Collector Road.
One is.
Whatever your priority, whatever your, yeah. So if you want palm trees, and that's your first priority, come put your sticker for 1, you've got crosswalks for 2, and shared bike lanes would be your 3rd priority. We're just taking this feedback, we're gonna assemble it all, and then we'll share it with the city and the project team, and then we'll address this when we come back in August.
I'd use
Where are we putting
I'd use
street
the
lights?
I'd use the in-road lighting stuff.
Street light.
Yeah, for street, yeah. So
Street light.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a question about
Yeah.
existing palm trees. They're in the easement part.